Lately, I thought a lot about the in-between, so-called being interested. So basically, I thought about the things that are out there and what's happening in your mind. I often find myself being an observer, trying to understand what's happening in my life. At this point, I think that it's crucial to be in between all the time. You kind of fool yourself into a circle of nothing, reflecting fantasies, excusing, being passive, not participating, and building new scenarios all over again. You repeat the circle of analysis. Don't get me wrong, I think that staying interested is beautiful. It is the necessity to understand, feel the nothing, prepare to destroy and create. But it shouldn't become an illusion. Some months ago, I started working in the political field. The term political accompanied me for some time now. Being among politicians taught me what it means to be beyond theory, beyond your wish just to be acknowledged. It takes a certain picture to be unapologetically present, not to question your motivation, your existence. It needs a decision to be ready to take responsibility. Maybe it sounds obvious, but for me, the analyzing in between being, it is enlightening to feel what the political term actually feels like. It means constant spiritual work. I think a lot about questions like, what kind of place do my thoughts belong to in the world? Is it important to have comparisons? To be able to measure myself and what I think? It's different for everyone, the need to be present. Maybe never be in between. But I think that you're always aware that there is something else out there, the opposite of you, the same as you. I'm sure that you need to choose how you perceive and meet others. Do you want to meet them as strangers, enemies, friends, mentors, maybe lovers? It might also sound obvious, but if you really think about it, this motivation reveals a lot about your in-between. Are you always annoyed by others? Do they hurt you? Are you inspired by them or maybe jealous? You see, this is a fun game, but at some point you need to make a decision. If you stay in that space, you stay in a fantasy. When you choose a perspective, you discovered, your motivation becomes political. Are you ready to take responsibility? Are you ready to accept the consequences, especially the emotional ones? There was a certain incident that made me visit the in-between again. Me and my friends went to open artist spaces, so basically people opened their private working space for visitors during a weekend. There were a lot of artists from an older generation, painting portraits, landscapes, mostly on canvas. We got into a conversation with an older man who spoke to us about his background of painting for more than 20 years. It was about his travel and the art market, but it was mostly about isolation, loneliness, and the gap between real and superficial, modern and natural. Isolation and loneliness are some of the most fascinating things about being an artist to me. They are the only way to stay in between and seek for the deeply humane. To me, the isolation and distance became comforting at some point. I forgot that the questions art evokes are a present. They aren't meant for you to answer, but they are a connection to the outside. You need to pass along those questions and be grateful that there's someone who is willing to share that connection with you. I feel that it's slowly time to leave the in-between, find the strength, and take the responsibility. And of course, have fun with the consequences. It's time to find the loving connection in pictures.